Okay, so then they do defer the pick, though. I start looking through some of these draft prospects, and you focus in on guys that are anywhere from 45 or 50th, and then beyond what will be a part of the two rounds of the NBA draft. I mean, there's a couple of guys, and it's shame on me. I've taken a look at a couple of guys from Europe, and I'll be happy for you to put names out there. For myself and for the Nets fans to get their eyes on and say, hey, here's a guy post draft isn't going to be drafted, but the Nets should certainly be targeting. So feel free to put any of them in there. But the couple of guys that came to mind here, first, he's certainly further down the list, or at least on some boards. At one, Evan Mobley. He has a brother. His name is Isaiah. And he certainly has a skill set. It looks like you saw a better volume from beyond the arc this past season. Now, the percentage dropped down to 35 from the year prior, but his free throw percentage went up. It looks like he's going to be able to evolve that part of his game. He's not an inside big from that perspective. But do you see him? I don't know where you have him on your board, or if you develop it that way. I've seen him in the 80s and 90s, so he's there. He's there to be had after the draft is said and done. Is he the type of player that you think has the ability to be an impact player in what Brooklyn needs as well?
Yeah, because he has a skill set that fits around your stars. And so, I mean, there's a premium for shooting and a big that can shoot. So I think that he's someone that would be worth developing. And yeah, I mean, I just think it would make sense. Well, one of the things that could help Brooklyn, and maybe I'm kind of getting off the subject a little bit here, is that I think now with agents are so creative. So let's say I'm an agent, right? And teams are wanting my guy as a two-way. My suggestion would say, no, don't draft him. I'd rather go undrafted.
Yep.
Because if he goes undrafted, now I can pick the spot to where I think that he has the best path to get some playing time. And if you look at some of these top heavy teams where their contract, they have like the majority of their payroll is structured around 3 or 4 guys. They're looking for cheap guys to come in and that can actually earn minutes. And one of the best examples was Austin Reeves last year. The Lakers had their big 3 guys, and Austin didn't get drafted, but he ended up signing a 2-way deal with the Lakers. And then before the season started, it was converted into a standard contract, and then he ended up being one of their rotation guys. He may not have got that same opportunity if he went to another team where the salary was kind of spread out a little bit more. So I think that could be a situation for the Nets where they can end up getting somebody or with an agent that is strategic and says, no, I don't want my guy to get drafted. I would take a 2-way with the Nets because I think that they need help at point guard. I think they need a shooter on the wing, and my guy can come in and at least be the 8th man in their rotation on a team that is expected to go deep in the playoffs. And you have to factor in, it is Brooklyn, it is New York. So if you get this undrafted kid that cracks the rotation and plays a role, there's a story behind it, and New Yorkers are going to love the underdog story. So that would be my choice if I were an agent. I would be taking that angle.
And
it's a risk.
We even saw Kessler Edwards, who now was drafted, but he was that bit of a darling story for Brooklyn Nets fans, who ends up earning the contract. Now, the mechanics of dropping someone that the fans weren't big on in James Johnson just to roster a player and not use him in the playoffs. There's a lot of things we could talk about there, but how you end up maybe stealing value, whether it's in or after the draft, you're saying in that route, going with the agents and trying to find a best path for minutes.